Okay, now earlier in the interview, you mentioned that year on year, there are plans, or I think every 5 years you come up with a program plan suggestion, but now you are going to have to undertake a complete review as a result of COVID, a result of all of Ukraine, Russia, etc. What are we looking at initially?
In terms of the outcomes, Rosito, we see very much that it will likely remain the same in terms of supporting food security and nutrition, promoting sustainable agriculture and conservation of resources, and also addressing vulnerabilities. But in terms of the types of strategies that we will be pursuing and how we will be conducting them, I think that is what has been highlighted in the consultation process so far in the midterm updating. So among others, we have highlighted the need to adopt more innovation. So
Meaning?
Innovations pertaining to use of ICT-based solutions, using more information and having them ready, and in a way process na rin po to support programming and the decision making for our government partners. Also, for example, we have introduced before the use of drones in assessing the impacts of a disaster and how it affects, or how the government should be able to address it. And then in the fishery sector, we have also been pursuing the in a way modernization of fishing vessels by using drones as well to combat illegal, unreported, unregulated IUU fishing, and also using marine transponders. So slowly we are going into this. At the community level, we are also trying to build capacities of community organizations to benefit or maximize from e-platforms or online platforms so that they expand their reach as well.
Well, what about us in terms of general policies? Because we in the media have been covering this debate on highlighting local production versus import dependence. And one of the undersecretaries that I interviewed said, Sito, you have to balance the interests of the farmers and as well as the interests of the consumers. But it seems that philosophy has been thrown out the window, because now even the exporters, our suppliers such as Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, etc., they have all decided either to keep their products or to raise their prices. Now, what is the position? Does the FAO involve in the making suggestions that, teka, you wait a minute, reduce your imports, strengthen your local production, etc.?
At the global level, Sir Cito, FAO has released a policy note, so sort of to serve as a guide for countries to cope with the impacts of the current crisis. And actually, among the recommendations highlighted in this policy note is to diversify the sources of food commodities. So it does not imply looking for other global or international trade partners, but that policy recommendation or that suggestion that came from FAO also covers strengthening local production. So in a way, it would help us reduce dependence on importation and also, capacitate our smallholder producers. But specifically on that food security, food self-sufficiency discussion, actually one of the suggestions or one of the action points that we would like to highlight for the incoming administration would be to conduct a study so that we have robust data to support our position, whether to pursue food self-sufficiency or should it be food security, or as pointed out earlier, I think you mentioned that we should also balance the different interests of the stakeholders. But at this time, FAO doesn't have we haven't really done an in-depth study on this aspect yet. But given the current trend, the current crisis and the development, we would push to have this kind of study.